Inside the Magic Show number 493 for September 15th, 2014.
You are not the first to pass this way, nor shall you be the last.
It is Monday, September 15th, 2014. This is show 493 of Inside the Magic, and as always, I am your host, Ricky Briganti, with another fun show packed with Disney and theme park news and a whole lot more. And before we get into all of it, I do invite you to visit our website at InsideTheMagic.net. There you'll find all of our podcasts, videos, photos, news, articles, and plenty more. And if you ever have any news, tips, questions, comments, or anything at all that you want to send in, you can do so by emailing me at ricky@InsideTheMagic.net. Or you can always call and leave a message at 407-494-4ITM. That's 4486. And now, let's get on with the show. This week's episode of Inside the Magic is brought to you by Magical Travel. Do you want to travel this fall? Well, you can save up to 30% on rooms at select Walt Disney World Resort hotels for stays most nights between October 4th and December 23rd. But you're going to want to hurry and book now for the best availability because the offer ends October 3rd. Book that by calling Magical Travel today at 866-207-8387 or visit them online at magicaltravel.com to receive a free price quote. And when you do that, be sure to mention Inside the Magic to receive a free Disney gift card for qualifying bookings when you book your Disney vacation with Magical Travel. And thanks very much to Andrea Rath and Brandon Lester for your donations this week, and to all contributors to this show. I thank you all, every single one of you. And now, let's get started with a trip around the world. Well, it's been a crazy busy weekend, hence the Monday show here, and it really all began on Friday when mid-Friday afternoon or so, Disney unleashed a bombshell on the fan community and the world at large, because Frozen is returning to Epcot in a very, very big way. After a whole lot of rumor, a whole lot of speculation for recent weeks, Disney did confirm that the Maelstrom ride at Norway in Epcot will be closing to make way for a Frozen attraction. The whole Norway pavilion is not going away. They're still going to retain some Norwegian elements, keeping it within the World Showcase theme, but a good chunk of it is now going to become Frozen. You know, go on a Frozen ride, get Anna and Elsa will be returning for their own new meet and greet location. If you are a fan of the classic Epcot attraction, the boat ride through Norway, you've got very limited time to get out there and see it again. It is its last day of operation is going to be October 5th, and that means October 6th, no more. It will be gone forever. The new Frozen attraction is expected to be completed by early 2016. No additional details have been released just yet, other than that the guests will somehow be transported to Arendelle and, get music and moments from Frozen, the huge Disney phenomenon. Now, naturally, a lot of people have a lot of opinions about this, and so we're going to talk a little bit more about that a little bit later in the show. But continuing with the Frozen news, that wasn't it. In addition, Disney also confirmed that this year's Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party at the Magic Kingdom will have a Frozen flair to it as well. Starting November 5th, which is actually a couple of days before the first Mickey's party, Frozen characters will be part of the Cinderella Castle lighting moment. Queen Elsa will appear on Cinderella Castle to ice over the castle with sparkling lights. And then in the Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas Time parade, Anna and Elsa and Kristoff and even Olaf will be part of the parade. It'll be the first ever appearance of Olaf in a Disney theme park. Of course, Olaf is already on the Disney and Ice show that's touring the country, but I imagine the one in the park will look even better. Now, naturally, that parade also is performed around Christmas time without having to go to the Very Merry Christmas Party. So those who don't want to pay extra to see it will be able to just show up to the Magic Kingdom around the week of Christmas and the week of New Year's and see it then. So lots of Frozen being inserted into the Christmas festivities, but it doesn't end there either, because the Frozen Summer Fun event that already got extended through September 28th is also continuing in a slightly different form. The Frozen Sing-Along show will stay exactly where it is at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Wandering Oaken's Trading Post is going to relocate closer to that show, and I believe the former AFI store location. And there will also be a new play area that will feature real snow, a bigger play area, and that will be continuing through the Christmas season. No word as to what will happen after that, though it seems likely that the sing-along will probably move into the former American Idol theater at that point, but we'll just have to wait and see about that. So, and of course, Anna and Elsa continue in the meantime to meet and greet at the Magic Kingdom. It's not clear as to whether they'll stay there or if they're actually moving to Epcot, but we've still got a year and a half away before all of that happens. But essentially, we're looking at Frozen in the Magic Kingdom, Frozen at Epcot, Frozen at Disney's Hollywood Studios. I think Frozen fans are now wondering, what is Sven going to come to Animal Kingdom now to complete all 4 parks worth of Frozen? Maybe the Yeti will get taken over by Marshmallow. Anyway, so yeah, big. In fact, that was the biggest news ever to hit our website. It was so much traffic constantly throughout the day on Friday. Easily the biggest day we've ever had. Certainly on Facebook, we reached literally millions and millions of people with that. People are either really, really, really excited about this or really, really, really not excited about it. So as I said, talking a little bit more about that in just a little bit. If that wasn't quite enough Frozen, though, on the very same day at the Walt Disney Studios, their main theater, the big marquee sign was swapped out. I believe it was Snow White prior, and now it's Frozen, naturally, on an Elsa in a huge graphic up on the building. So, yeah, it's just Frozen mania everywhere. Moving on from there, for the moment, there was other big news this week. In the world of technology, Apple, of course, announced all kinds of fun stuff, the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus, and then, and this is the part that actually relates to Disney, they announced Apple Pay and the Apple Watch. Apple Pay is what they're hoping will replace credit cards and wallets. It's a digital wallet, if you would like to call it that, and Apple Watch is exactly what you might imagine it is. It's like iPad, iPhone, iPod, all of that on your wrist in a watch form. Well, how does this relate to Disney? Well, number one, the Apple Watch is going to have the ability to put a little animated Mickey Mouse face on it, and that's, a little digital face. That's kind of fun. But even more so than that, coming to the Disney Store locations as well as Walt Disney World by Christmas, Apple Pay will be integrated. And so, we already know you have My Magic Plus and the Magic Band system at Walt Disney World. Well, now Apple Pay will be compatible with all of that. It's kind of the next step of My Magic Plus. The integration continues between Apple and Disney. The Apple Watch doesn't come out until next year, 2015. And one sort of smaller announcement during all of that, Disney is also developing some games of some sort for the iPhone 6, taking advantage of the phone's enhanced processing power. Now, back to the parks out here at Walt Disney World over at the Polynesian. Of course, the transformation into from the Polynesian former name to the Polynesian Village Resort as the new sort of retro-style name is. It seems to be happening immediately because a new sign was just unveiled today that has just that, Polynesian Village Resort. It's a quite nice-looking sign, got some sort of tealish, bluish, greenish color with a waterfall on dark rock, and I have a feeling that's going to be indicative of the new look we're going to see in the lobby, which is very much still under renovation at that hotel. Let's jump coasts over to California now, where there's plenty of excitement going on out there as well. At the Disneyland Resort, we're at Disney California Adventure this weekend. Oswald the Lucky Rabbit made his meet and greet debut in the United States. I recently told you about the annual pass holder event that took place a couple of weeks ago, in which Oswald made his first appearance at the park, just kind of drove through in a cavalcade. Well, now he is meeting and greeting on Buena Vista Street daily, not far from his gas station themed store that's named after him. So you can go see him. I'm looking forward to seeing Oswald next time I go out there. Also going on, starting this weekend, Halloween time has begun at Disneyland. Jack Skellington has once again taken over the Haunted Mansion, turning it into Haunted Mansion Holiday. This year, pretty much the same as last year's version. Last year, there was a lot of new things added, projections and all kinds of cool stuff. So this year, they've kind of kept it more or less the same, but did, of course, add a new gingerbread house in the ballroom, as they do every year. And this year it's a sort of a zombie gingerbread house, a little bit more on the scary side, which is a lot of fun. We have video, a full video ride through, as well as a close-up, nice long extended look at that gingerbread house animated in its full glory over on our website and YouTube channel. Thanks to Sean over at theconfluencecovers.com. And also news from Disneyland. Big Hero 6 will be coming soon to Tomorrowland in a sneak peek similar to the previous sneak peek for Guardians of the Galaxy. It's going to be in the same spot, the former Captain EO location, the Magic Eye Theater in Tomorrowland. Big Hero 6 preview will be an extended look at the film with special effects in the theater. It seems like it's only coming to Disneyland this time around, though. Last time the Guardians 1 played at both Disneyland there as well as at Disney's Hollywood Studios, but Disney did not say that the Big Hero 6 preview would be coming out here to Walt Disney World this time. Of course, both coasts will be getting meet and greets with Hero and Baymax a little bit later this year. Also at Disneyland, here's a fun special event that's coming up that was just announced this week. They're calling it the Mahalloween Luau over at Trader Sam's at the Disneyland Hotel. It's a meetup with Imagineers over food and drinks with some special collectibles. It costs $125 to attend, limited to 100 people per seating. There's quite a few seatings. That begins September 29th. You find out more over on the official Disney Parks blog website. All right, let's turn our attention to a little bit more Halloween fun. Jumping back out here to Florida over at Universal Orlando, things are definitely ramping up big time because Halloween Horror Nights is just around the corner. It is debuting this week at the end of the week, September 19th. I will most certainly be there for that, as I'm super looking forward to it. But I've already had a chance to see some of it, which was thrilling. Universal held its annual press preview recently, just a few days ago, to show off costumes and makeup and masks and set pieces and even one of their haunted house experiences. I talked to a lot of the designers, as I do every year. They're just such great people. A lot of new faces, actually, this time around, which is nice. Get a fresh take on everything. So I had a chance to walk through the Halloween haunted house, the Michael Myers Halloween. I did it 4 times and once completely by myself, which was a lot of fun. So if you want to read all about my experiences there, see all the gory details of everything, sort of an overview summary on our website, InsideTheMagic.net, and then for the really, really close look at all the, as I said, gory details, OutsideTheMagic.com is where you'll find that, along with plenty of video, a little interview with some folks from Face Off. The Sci-Fi Show are contributing to the event this year. Pretty exciting there. In addition, out at Universal Studios Hollywood, I sent Jeremiah Dawes to a preview of 2 of their haunted houses. Their creative director, John Murdy, took him on a tour of the Walking Dead house and the Clowns 3D Slash house, music by Slash. So you can see some photos and video from inside those as well on our website and YouTube channel. Also, Universal Orlando launched a new component to Halloween Horror Nights this year. In the past, they've done this thing called Legendary Truth, sort of this interactive game sort of thing in the parks. It got very complicated. Well, this year, they seem to be simplifying it a bit, and they're calling it The Compound. It's hhncompound.com. If you enter the code word, which is recon in all caps, you can access their special section of the website to find out different missions that will take place every single night during the event. And by completing certain tasks, you might actually win something. They're going to be doing a meetup coming soon and a lot of fun stuff. So I'm looking forward to seeing how all of that happens as well. But despite the fact that there is all of that Halloween Horror Nights fun coming up in the very near future, that wasn't even the biggest announcement that came out of Universal in the last few days. Out of nowhere, the very next morning, after the press preview of Horror Nights, Universal Orlando and Loews Hotels announced a new hotel to open there in summer of 2016. It's called the Sapphire Falls Resort, which I think is a great name. It's going to feature 1,000 guest rooms and suites with a Caribbean theme. There's going to be a tropical river, a big waterfall, 77 suites, bringing the total number of on-site hotel rooms at Universal Orlando to 5,200. There's going to be big floor-to-ceiling windows with a quote-unquote island view, with a pool and water slide and a sand beach, a poolside bar, grill, full-service restaurant. It will be a pet pet-friendly hotel, have a fitness center, lots of convention space. It'll actually have a air-conditioned bridge that connects over to the Royal Pacific Resort, and of course, early park admission is also part of it for the Universal theme parks. This, as I said, will be opening in 2016, but reservations will be accepted starting in spring 2015. If you head to our website, you can see some artwork of what this new hotel will look like. And now let's head on down to Tampa, where I had some pretty big thrills this week as Busch Gardens Tampa officially unveiled Falcon's Fury to the world via media, television, newspapers, websites, etc. Everybody was there for one sort of big hoopla to show it off, and they had this great camera rig set up on Falcon's Fury. Falcon's Fury is a 335-foot tall drop tower, and it takes you up to the top. Takes, I don't know, a half a minute to get up there, and then it turns you straight down, facing straight down 300 feet. You hang there for a few seconds, and then you drop, and it gets up to 60 miles an hour, and it is such a thrill. And they had this camera mounted on the seats, pointed right at my face, and yeah, I did it twice, and you could see me screaming all the way down, veins popping out of my head, hair flying in the wind, all of that. So I actually shot some slow motion video as well of our photographer Karen, who was there with me, and it's just hilarious. You have to go to our YouTube channel and check out the Falcon's Fury video. It's pretty darn amusing. I had fun editing it together. It's a crazy fun experience. I will definitely do it when I go back for Howl-O-Scream. Really great addition to Busch Gardens. Now let's jump completely overseas to Hong Kong Disneyland, where their new Paint the Night parade just made its debut. It doesn't officially debut until October 1st, but the park is already previewing it. 7 original floats, over 740,000 individual lights. Throughout this month of September, they're doing pretty extensive previews to media, bloggers, celebrities, business partners, cast members, families, a lot of people, more than 100,000 guests, in fact, will be seeing in its preview stage. I guess you could call it a soft opening before the official debut in a couple of weeks. The parade concept comes from Steve Davison, you might know from Mickey's Sensational Parade, Festival Fantasy Parade, and many, many other things. Paint the Night is actually the first ever fully LED parade created by Walt Disney Parks and Resorts. It took more than 2 years for them to develop it. The floats that it features are Tinkerbell, Monsters, Inc., Cars, The Little Mermaid, Belle / Beauty and the Beast, Toy Story, and Mickey and Friends, and it just is bright and glowing and pretty phenomenal looking, so you can head over to our website to check out some video of that entire parade as well. Also, one more note, definitely worth mentioning here about the Paint the Night parade. There's this new high-tech technique. Actually, quite a few. They've got lots of technology in the parade, of course, fiber optic wigs and even eyelashes that can glow. But guests get to take part in the high-techness. They can paint the night using the Mickey Magic Paintbrush, which allows them to change colors on select costumes at the touch of a button, which is pretty neat. It can also talk with other Made with Magic merchandise, as they're calling it. The Mickey Glow Mitt and Minnie Glow Bow will all sort of communicate with each other. Seems like a next generation of the Glow with the Show technology used in a much more fun and interactive way. And all right, let's take a step away from the parks here for just something that was rather amusing that you have to go watch. I can't even really describe it to you other than to say that Disney, for some reason this week, decided to make over one of their websites into a 90s look with like an old GeoCities style thing with like all these scrolling text and flashing graphics and a web counter and, you know, all that stuff you remember from the early days of the World Wide Web. Well, they did that. And in addition, they released this incredibly silly but hilarious video of the DuckTales intro. The same song, but it was a shot-for-shot remake using real ducks instead of the animated ones, and it's wonderful. Head over to our website to see that. Also, completely separate from that, some more news from the video game world. Disney Infinity coming out very, very soon, and it was just announced by Disney Interactive that part of the whole Marvel superheroes universe, Yondu and Falcon will be included in the game. Yondu from Guardians of the Galaxy and Falcon from Captain America universe, Winter Soldier and all of that, although it's more of the comic version of him. So those will be included in Disney Infinity as well. They're coming out as figures, I believe, next year, 2015. In the meantime, there'll be Power Disc versions that you can kind of team up and use those. So, good to have even more characters coming to Disney Infinity. And now, final two bits here are a couple of things that I definitely want to mention and hope that you check out. Just launched today over on InsideTheMagic.net, and on our YouTube channel is a new weekly column / video series called Details. That's D-Tales, like D, their tails, details. So it's actually comes from Kevin Yee. You might know him from a variety of other Disney sites that he has contributed to in the past. Well, now he's out here in Orlando. He's a good friend. We got to talking and figured, hey, he should contribute to Inside the Magic as well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing all the little hidden Disney tidbits of information and photos and tributes that he's going to be showing us week after week. So definitely go check that out on our website and YouTube channel. And finally, this week we are unveiling the Radley Haunted House. It's not open quite yet, but we are announcing our opening date. It is October 9th down in St. Petersburg. Once again, big thank you to everybody who contributed via our Kickstarter. We've used your funds very, very well. This is going to be one heck of a Halloween experience. It is coming together beautifully. I've walked through it a number of times, watching it all come together, working hard on creating some wonderful effects for it. But most importantly, for you can start to see things now as we begin to tease it little by little over on our website, radleyhaunt.com. Make sure you go there every day this week to check out, you'll see what it is. But dates, hours, directions, details, photos, video, that's where you're going to find it all, radleyhaunt.com. And then, starting October 9th, we hope we see you out in St. Petersburg, Florida. And that'll do it for your news from around the world this week. This week's tip comes in from Nate, who writes, when visiting the parks, I always try to be helpful to my fellow vacationers. If I see a family taking a photo, I ask if they would like me to take their picture. So everyone's in the photo. It creates an awesome memory for the family, and they will be inclined to pass on the good deed to the next family that they see. Nate, great tip. I do the same thing. Of course, people tend to pick me out of the group because I'm usually have this big camera dangling from me, and they're like, "Oh, a photographer, here, take our picture." But when I don't have all of that going on, I definitely look for those moments. Certainly great to not have the one person always behind the camera and never actually gets in any of the photos. I mean, I know photo passes for that and all that, but you like to take pictures with your own camera. So definitely a great tip there. Everybody else, please email your tips into tips@insidethemagic.net. So let's talk Frozen. Coming back to Epcot a little bit here. Maybe a little analysis of this topic, because it is a hot topic. Hundreds and probably thousands of comments on our website and on our Facebook page and on the official Walt Disney World Facebook, and they're just exploding with people who are irate over this announcement that Frozen is taking over a good chunk of the Norway Pavilion at Epcot. And the reason so many people are upset is because they feel that the World Showcase is a place that should be relatively free of that sort of Disney influence. It is a showcase of the world. It is supposed to be an authentic kind of experience where when you visit those countries, the country's pavilions in Epcot, it is very much representative of what that country is actually like. And naturally, going to Norway at Epcot and winding up in Arendelle with a big snow monster and a talking snowman and ice magic and that stuff, it belongs in Fantasyland, right? So I mean, is that the correct way of thinking, or does it make sense what Disney is thinking? I mean, Disney's official response to why it's going into Norway is, number one, that it's not taking over all of Norway. There's still going to be a large chunk of Norway that remains Norway, still Norwegian food and architecture and various pieces that will still say, Norway very much. So, how can they put in Frozen, which is hugely popular, obviously, and with all of the extra land that they have, either little squeezed in between countries, perhaps at in the World Showcase. There's definitely a good chunk of land just to the left of Norway that they could. I mean, there's already some buildings there, but they're cast facilities of some sort. Theoretically, they could move those somewhere else and build something, an add-on to Norway. Keep the Norwegian Pavilion as it is. Why aren't these things happening? Well, of course, I don't have an actual answer to that other than to simply say Frozen. It's huge, and the masses outside of the Disney park hardcore community, the masses who are gobbling up anything and everything Frozen, are demanding it. When Anna and Elsa were there in Norway, meeting and greeting, the lines were astronomically huge, wrapping far and outside of the Norway Pavilion, and clearly Disney responded to that by moving them to Princess Fairy Tale Hall, which was a great move. They've done a great job in since then sort of organizing that chaos, instituting the Fast Pass Plus and making sure that it is a much better experience. In fact, just a few days ago, I probably should have mentioned this earlier, Disneyland began doing a very similar thing. They don't have Fast Pass Plus out there, but they are handing out time tickets to come back to meet Anna and Elsa instead of making guests wait there for hours and hours and hours. So, they're handling that demand, but the demand is most definitely still there. As I noted earlier, the announcement of the Frozen ride coming to Epcot was huge. It was the biggest thing I have ever published, and it just kept going. Like, it was a constant traffic throughout the day. I have never seen one bit of Disney news kind of take over like that. And there's two sides to the story. So what is the correct decision when you're Disney? Do you take your most popular movie, your most popular characters, your most popular franchise in many years and just tack it on somewhere? Do you rush to get something out? Do you wait and take your time and build something huge and memorable, running the risk of the phenomenon kind of quieting down by the time you build it? Do you take over something existing, and where do you put that? There's a lot of thinking going into these things. I mean, they just completed a huge expansion of Fantasyland at the Magic Kingdom. Would it make a lot of sense at this point to now add a whole other area to the Magic Kingdom, a new Frozen ride, an Arendelle land? Would any of that make any sense at all? Probably not. It wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to, sort of dwarf all of the efforts that they did over the last few years to add even more to the Magic Kingdom. So they take a look at where that demand is, where should it go, where it has it been, how has it worked, and where does it make sense? Well, it doesn't really make sense at Animal Kingdom at all. So then you're down to Epcot and Hollywood Studios. Well, some would say, okay, it's already there at Hollywood Studios. It's got the Frozen Summer Fun event that's going pretty well. Why not put it there? It is a movie after all, and sure, it would work there, but it doesn't quite fit the vibe of that park entirely well. Animated movies don't really feel like that sort of ride the movies sort of thing that park does, where it's more of a live action movie kind of park. And so then you're left with Norway is the next logical place at Epcot. So with all of that said, from the other perspective, Norway is Norway. It's a country. It's certainly something to be retained. It's one of the many individual experiences that make up the World Showcase as a whole, which is a concept that's been around for so long. But does that really hold up? Has it held up? I mean, Epcot for so many years was plagued with the notion that it was boring. Sure, the hardcore Epcot fans would say absolutely not. It's wonderful, but the masses had that opinion of the park, and so Disney has done a lot to change that opinion. They've added thrill rides. Test Track didn't used to be there. Mission Space didn't used to be there. Soarin' didn't used to be there. They overlaid the Living Seas with the Seas with Nemo and Friends, so that was bringing some characters into the park. They added the Three Caballeros to the Mexican pavilion. It's not Rio del Tiempo anymore, so that was again bringing some of that Disneyness. In fact, there didn't even used to be Disney characters in the park, and those are there and quite prevalent now. I mean, you walk around the World Showcase and you see Snow White, and you see Belle, and you see Jasmine, and you see all of those surrounding the park. So where is that line drawn? How far is too far, bringing sort of the fantasy character element into that park? It's clear that the park is not it's not the same park that it used to be, but Disney is, realizing that and has brought people on to make sure that Epcot goes in a direction that is actually successful and enjoyable for the masses. Disney, unfortunately, it can't cater only to the hardcore fanboys of these experiences all the time. So, is there a right answer to all of this? No. I'm sure the discussions, as I've been talking on and on in here, have been going on for quite a long time. There's some very creative people who have put a lot of thought into where something Frozen would be going. I mean, it's clear that Disney had to do something with Frozen. It is an absolute huge phenomenon. So, I don't really have a conclusion to this discussion other than to say what good will come out of it. Well, that's kind of the question that I posed online, ignoring the fact that people are up in arms about Maelstrom going away, ignoring that for a second. What about a Frozen ride? What would make a great Frozen ride? What would make it a fun, worthy experience of such a huge movie? And people's expectations are going to be enormous. So I posed that question online. I want to read a few of the fun ideas that you all came up with. Jonathan said it has to have a marshmallow snow monster manifest as if he's going to take a swing at you and saying, go away. And then you go down the drop, maybe go backwards if it's going to follow the same path of Maelstrom. That would certainly make sense. Connie said 2 words, yoo-hoo. So certainly Wandering Oaken should be in there as well. Heather, along with many other people, that said it should be a sled ride, sort of sliding all over the place, maybe pulled by Sven, maybe not, but a dark ride with some thrill. That could certainly work. Alex elaborates, saying he'd really like to have a semi-fast sled ride that makes the rider feel like you're in Norway / the world of Frozen because of the realism of the ride. Not identical to the ride that exists now, really driven by the story of Frozen, but still authentic to Norway and Epcot's theme. Melissa adds that it could be Kristoff's sled specifically, but definitely have cold rooms, which would feel nice in the Floridian heat. Maybe some slight roller coaster-ish areas like the Tigger section of The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. So some bouncing, really. And then Elizabeth adds that she would not want a dark ride with animatronics, but rather some kind of projected character technology to really make them come to life in full animated form. And then again, mentioning cold weather like the Antarctica ride in SeaWorld to have be warm in Arendelle, but then freezing cold air blast you when Elsa sort of goes off and makes it snow inside the ride. And Joshua adds that he would like our own personal flurry. Certainly a lot of great ideas there. There's a lot of moments from the movie Frozen that could definitely be integrated into a ride very well. A lot of action sequences, the wolves, and certainly Marshmallow, the snow monster, as we've added. And you can kind of imagine if you did follow the path of Maelstrom, if they used the existing path, how they could overlay it with Frozen, and it still could go really well, especially culminating in that moment where you're going forwards, and then the part where the big troll comes out and sends you back over the falls. Well, that could be your sort of North Mountain moment, and Elsa doesn't want you there, and Marshmallow comes out and then sends you back down the mountain, and then you're cascading backwards, flying through the latter half of the movie. Could be really fun, actually, and would make a lot more sense than Maelstrom ever has. So there's definitely a lot of potential for Frozen at Epcot, whether it fits the Epcot theme or not. Well, certainly the masses of fans have spoken out tremendously online. There are petitions. There's endless Facebook posts noting how it's definitely not the right move. If you're looking for my opinion, I have been riding Maelstrom for so very many years, ever since I've been vacationing here, coming to Orlando, going to Epcot, look forward to it. I always look forward to that, and El Rio de Tiempo, and Spaceship Earth, and Horizons, and it was all part of the classic Epcot experience, and to see that go away, yeah, I'd be a little disappointed, but I'm not totally attached to it, and I can't say that I even know anybody who's ever said, oh my god, the Norway ride is my favorite thing in the world. It's like one of those things, you're like, yeah, it's fun. It's fun because it's kind of lame, but it's fun in its own little way, and then you get to the end, and the water crashes and you just kind of want to get off and skip the movie, and it kind of peters out at the end. So there's so much potential to make it a much more fulfilling experience than what it has been for so many years. And so in my opinion, while I don't think Frozen fits entirely with the Epcot theme. I'm kind of thinking that Epcot doesn't really have that anymore. I mean, it's losing it quickly, and I feel like it's not going to get that back, and it's just going to take a new direction. I don't even know what the direction of Epcot is anymore, and I'm sure that's what many are not so happy about, but it's there, and that's the direction it's going. And if it's more fun for people, then you got to just kind of accept it and go with it. So I'm not going to say let it go. I absolutely refuse, even though the music's playing in the background. I'm just not going to say it. So anyway, so there's kind of my brain dump on the Frozen announcement. There's certainly much more to be said on it, and feel free to go back to the article on the website or head over to Facebook at the endless discussions there and chime in as well and see where you weigh in on the whole topic of the Frozen takeover of all things. I am a little frozened out. Somebody on the Facebook page called it frostbite, and that's kind of how I feel, because it is feeling like overload. But those who are not paying such close attention to everything Disney maybe don't feel that way. There's kind of getting the casual feeling of Frozen every once in a while, and they'll take what they can get, and that's very different than those of us who pay attention to the absolute minute-by-minute Disney news and are on top of everything. There's going to be a lot of people who come on Christmas and you get, hey, surprise, Frozen's here, and they'll be very excited. So different crowd, different audience, different target, different outlook, and so it's not going anywhere. I can tell you that. You're just going to have to live with it. Disney is not going to let this immensely popular property just sort of vanish. They've got it for at least another year and a half. We're going to be looking at it very much. So there's nothing you can do about it. You're just going to embrace it and enjoy it, I suppose. And there it is. Frozen, Epcot. Yeah. And now turning completely away from that to another hot property of Disney's, and that is the world of Star Wars. Of course, Star Wars Episode 7 still quite a ways away, but Star Wars Rebels, the new animated series, is immediately on the horizon, just a couple of weeks away from debuting on Disney Channel. And this past weekend down in Tampa, there was a great small convention called the Fanboy Expo that I attended, and two of the starring voice actors from Star Wars Rebels were there, and I had a chance to talk to these absolutely hilarious guys. And I'm just gonna play this for you. This is an interview of two voice actors just sort of letting loose, and well, here you go. We're in Tampa, Florida, just outside Orlando at the Fanboy Expo, and I'm here with one of the voices of the upcoming Star Wars Rebels. Would you give us a little introduction to yourself?
My name is Steve Bloom, and I play Zeb Aurelios on Star Wars Rebels.
Excellent. Well, everybody's really looking forward to this show. I know they've previewed a lot of it, a lot of positive reactions. What's the feeling you're getting from the feedback so far?
Oh, man, the feedback has been nothing but great. I was interested to see what the fans would think, just because there's always a lot of haters in the beginning of a new show, and especially when we're playing with new species and introducing new ideas into this legendary franchise. But it's been almost completely positive all the way across the board. And for me personally, I was there at the premiere in '77, and this has been the first incarnation of Star Wars that has brought back that feeling for me. So I just remember being a young kid and the head being thrown back as the Imperial cruiser is going by. Yeah. And so it's nice to relive that.
It's definitely an interesting mix, because Clone Wars kind of set out on its own. It had this new style, and people really took to it after a while. Yeah. And now Rebels seems to be a good blend of that sort of aesthetic, but with the classic Star Wars, as you're saying.
Yeah, well, I'm really grateful to Clone Wars, because they set new ground for us. They really took a lot of heat in the very beginning, and it took a while for that to pick up steam. But it's such a beautiful show, and it really set a new standard that we can just step right in, and we also get the support of Disney now behind us, and it's wonderful to be a part of it in this time. It's a great time to be part of Star Wars.
Sure. With Episode 7 on the horizon, a lot of rumors of theme park editions. How is it working for Disney, technically?
It's fantastic, actually. I mean, Disney has been so good to me throughout my career. And to be working for Disney and Lucas at the same time on a project like this, it's a fanboy's dream come true.
Well, while we're talking Disney, what else have you done for Disney?
Well, I worked on Witch. There's a show called Witch, okay, and a lot of other projects that Disney has had their hand in. I've been part of Marvel's universes for quite a while. as Wolverine, and just to have the Disney support behind that, it just kind of brings it to a whole new level and a whole new fan base. So it's nice to spread that out to a new generation.
Well, it always drives me nuts when I hear interviews with the voice actors and they're never asked to do voices. So what can you do for me?
What would you like?
Well, you mentioned Wolverine.
That's right, I'm the best there is at what I do, but what I do isn't very nice.
That's definitely Wolverine. Sounds very familiar. I've probably heard your voice many times. I don't know. You've got an assortment of characters behind you. Pick one at random.
How about...
Guilmon, this is Guilmon from Digimon.
This is... This is Greg Ellis.
Hello.
Yes, that's my Greg Ellis impression. Not very good one.
This is my Steve. How are you?
All right.
So many characters.
I don't do him or his voice. Well, the day's not over, so we'll see.
You'll get there.
Yeah.
Thank you, Steve.
Well, why don't you introduce yourself to our audience then?
Step up.
My name's Steve Bloom.
I'm Greg Ellis. How are you?
And what is your role in Star Wars Rebels?
I am a TIE fighter known as Baron Rudor.
And what is his character? What have you embodied? Oh, there he is. How would you describe him?
Oh, he's a little arrogant, a little full of himself, a bit dismissive. Thinks he's smarter than he really is. And you'll find out more about him during the course of the season.
Certainly. And is he just your normal voice, or do you give it a little spin?
Oh, he talks a little like this, you know.
You mean you don't talk like that on a daily basis?
No, I talk like this because my name is Steve Bloom. Steve Bloom.
Oh, hang on. It's Steve Bloom. It's the real Steve Bloom.
Oh, you don't want to wish that.
Man of so many voices.
Well, Steve, I wanted to ask you, how was the Comic-Con experience? Were you at
It was
Comic-Con?
really great.
Were you there as well?
This Steve.
Yeah.
You never know where to point the
Right.
How was Comic-Con?
Yes.
Oh, Comic-Con was insane. We did the big press junket
Right.
for Star Wars. It was amazing. I've never done anything like that before. I'm not a big celebrity like him, so I don't get to go on those
That's
big.
what he means like him.
I don't get to go on those big press junkets. It was a whole different world. for me.
Steve Bloom.
Well, keep going.
I'm just going to open my mouth and you speak for me. I'll be your meat puppet.
Watch Star Wars Rebels.
Wow, I finally got the accent right.
You got it. There it is. Are you worried about him taking over your role now?
I am. I'm worried about I'm taking over my life.
All right. One more question. What do you hope fans take away from Star Wars Rebels? It airs. People have seen a few episodes. What do they get out of it?
Well, I hope they get the same feeling that I had when I was watching A New Hope, and it's just a show that's got all of the classic elements of something that will last forever, and stirs up emotion. I mean, that show stirred up a lot of emotion for me as a young kid, and it's doing it again now as an adult, and I hope it brings a whole new audience to Star Wars. And this show, like many of the shows preceding, is going to be the first Star Wars experience for a lot of kids growing up, and we're putting as much quality in as possible. And with Dave Filoni at the helm again, I don't think we can lose. It's really an amazing piece. We have an incredible cast, incredible writers, incredible music. The animation is beautiful. It just has all the elements of something that's going to be around for a very long time.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for talking.
Thank you. And it's got him.
Bye.
Thank you, Steve Bloom ×2.
Those are some crazy guys right there. I'm going to be putting a video of that interview very soon, and it's even funnier to watch. That about summarized Fanboy Expo as well. A small convention for sure, but really fun because of those sort of extended conversations you could have with the celebrities that were there. There was, Herschel from The Walking Dead was there, and Pedro from Napoleon Dynamite, and the voices of Lino and Tigera from the original Thundercats, and Jem from Jem and the Holograms, and some wrestlers, and there was just a crazy assortment of people to just walk up and chat with, which was neat. Anyway, so you can see a lot of photos from that event, a bunch of cosplay photos as well, all over on OutsideTheMagic.com. And Star Wars Rebels, October 3rd, coming to Disney Channel, and then thereafter, that'll be the big debut, and then thereafter it'll be moving over to Disney XD for the full series.
Hey, Ricky.
Hi, Ricky. Hi, Ricky.
Hey, Ricky.
Hi, Ricky.
Hi, Ricky.
Hey, Ricky.
Ricky, this is amazing.
ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Inside the Magic listener feedback.
Seems fitting that I should play some more Norway music from Epcot, for obvious reasons. So let's jump into listener feedback with an email from Rob, who writes, great new segment, referring to the romance segment recently. I had asked for feedback and got lots of it, by the way. Thank you, everybody. So Rob writes, great new segment and personally very relevant to my past 2 visits to Walt Disney World. If I could add a few suggestions based on my experiences, Disney Floral and Gift did a fantastic job with the Valentine's Day surprise I requested for my princess. There were a number of items that they had in a variety of different packages that they allowed me to mix and match. Chocolates, a beautiful tiara, wishing rose, etc. It was truly was a Valentine's Day to remember. Another suggestion for couples attending without their kids is to invest in Memory Maker. Unless you are a selfie expert, it's tough to capture good shots. The Disney photographers are everywhere, and especially in the spots featuring the best photo ops. For a while, we picked up the routine and simply tapped our magic band, and the Shutterbugs went to town. Make sure you ask for all of the magic shots. They're a ton of fun and adding more to the mix all the time. For Valentine's weekend, there were additional heart-shaped props circulating, which added to the magic. It's a great way to look back on a romantic vacation with your partner. I'm really looking forward to the segment covering romantic dinner locations. I have quite a few on my personal list, and I hope your couple agrees. Well, Rob, thank you for your feedback, and like I said, everybody, thanks very much. For the most part, all of your feedback to the Carl and Ellie segment recently was positive. We'll definitely tweak it. We'll make it sound a little better. We'll sort of improve on a few things, but I think it's a good one that will feature every so often. It's certainly not going to be every single week, but I definitely welcome Bryce and Carly back to the show sometime in the semi-near future. Next up is another follow-up from a recent conversation. Several of you wrote in for this. First is from Brian, who writes, I just wanted to tell you that it is true that there are jumping fish in Frontierland at Disneyland. They are left over from the old Nature's Wonderland attraction. If you walk from Fantasyland to Frontierland around the backside of Big Thunder, there are a lot of pieces of Nature's Wonderland still there, including a long section of track in the odd rock formations of Teetering Canyon. About the fish, they have always worked when I walk by, and I've been told several times that they do break down often, but it's usually a minor issue and easily repaired. I assume if there was ever a major issue with those fish, Disney would just remove them like they did with Big Thunder Falls, another Nature's Wonderland leftover. Eric also wrote in to note that they were essentially left there as a tribute to that original mine train through Nature's Wonderland attraction. So thanks to everybody who wrote in about that. I'm going to have to look for those jumping fish next time I'm out at Disneyland. Next email comes from Joey, who writes, I'm noticing the new upcoming Pixar movie Inside Out, and I have a feeling it will be based on the old Cranium Command attraction that used to be at Epcot at Walt Disney World. What do you think? Well, Joey, I wouldn't say it was based on that, but it's certainly something that crossed the filmmakers' heads while coming up with this film. A very similar concept. Of course, also that old live-action show Herman's Head comes to mind. the same kind of concept. I mean, it's not like it's a brand new original idea, but Pixar's execution of it should be pretty neat. They've previewed a little bit of it. They did back at the D23 Expo, and what I have seen was pretty good. Seems like it's going to be really, really funny, but certainly have some heart as well, and that pretty much describes every Pixar movie. So I am definitely looking forward to it, and maybe it'll make its way back around, and the Cranium Command that's just kind of sitting there collecting dust over at Epcot, maybe it'll bring it some new life. Who knows? We'll see. Next email is from Thomas, who writes, I've been listening to your show for a couple months now, and it's a great way to catch up on the week's Disney news, so thanks. I'm heading down to Disneyland from October 9th through November 4th. It's my first solo trip to the park, and would like to know what to expect from the different experience. My last trip was there in 2011, so I think there have been some new additions to the park since then, and since it's Halloween, I'd like to know what the crowds will be like. I'll be attending Mickey's Halloween party on Halloween, and would like to know what happens at the party and what are the must-dos at the party. Will there be any rides down for refurbishment? And do you know the closure dates. And since I'll be there in November, will the Christmas decorations be up before I leave? All great questions, Thomas. Sounds like you've got one heck of a trip. You're going to be there for like a month, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, you're definitely going to have a lot of fun. Going on your own can be quite an experience. You get to do whatever you want, whenever you want. You can ride Haunted Mansion Holiday 87 times in a row if you want to. Of course, I don't think you could actually fit that many in a single day, but you get my point. As far as Mickey's Halloween party, that is an interesting experience. The goal of that is to focus on the Halloween entertainment, certainly trick-or-treating and the special fireworks and the character cavalcade and all of that. And so a lot of crowds are diverted to those areas, leaving the rides to be not so bad. So it's a good time to get on some attractions. I don't think everything is open during that party, but certainly a lot of attractions are. You definitely don't want to miss Space Mountain Ghost Galaxy and, any of those special Halloween experiences. But as far as the must-dos, definitely don't miss the fireworks. That's kind of the big main thing as far as I'm concerned at Mickey's Halloween party. There's lots of character interactions you could certainly do, and you can leave with a ton of candy, but you can save that till the end of the night. You don't even really have to trick-or-treat all night long. Just wait till the end, and they'll just shovel it into your bag, and you'll leave with more candy than you know what to do with. So really, it's just a chance to enjoy the ambiance, enjoy the extra spookiness, and have fun with the evening. Last year, they did a special pre-party Toontown character meet and greet with Roger Rabbit and some other characters. I don't know what's going on this year. They haven't really said if that's going to be a thing or not. I think I saw somebody post recently that there are some Halloween decorations springing up in Toontown as well as the rest of the park. So certainly something worth paying attention to. But beyond that, it's just kind of watch it all. As far as Christmas goes, it depends on how long into November you are. Certainly right after Halloween is when they start decorating for Christmas. But if you're leaving early November, you probably won't see too much of that. It'll take at least a week or two for your Christmas to really start creeping into the park there. Next email is a series of rapid-fire questions from Nate, the same Nate who gave us the tip earlier. So let's rapid-fire answer these rapid-fire questions. First up, Star Wars Land. Could it come to life after Star Wars 7 film wraps up due to the full, the making full-scale sets of the Millennium Falcon and bringing those to the parks instead? I don't think that would happen. I don't think those sets are built for guests to explore endlessly, but I definitely think if there's going to be a timeline for Star Wars Land somewhere, it's going to tie into Star Wars Episode 7. I don't see why it wouldn't. Next question. Was Roger Rabbit's cartoon spin ever coming to Walt Disney World? Not that I'm aware of. Next, what new Epcot pavilion would you like to see added to the World Showcase? My pick would be Brazil or Australia to place it in the African outpost. Well, interesting question. How about Arendelle? No. Brazil has certainly been rumored for a long time. It's certainly a possibility to add there. I don't really, I am not a world traveler, I hate to say, and so I don't really have a specific country that's not already there. I feel like kind of all the major ones that I would want to see are there. The ones that you mentioned would certainly be good. Australia could be interesting, but I really don't have an answer to that question, unfortunately. Next is, could Guardians of the Galaxy rejuvenate Tomorrowland with an attraction? I think Marvel in general can do wonders for Tomorrowland, as could Star Wars. Tomorrowland's definitely sort of a hodgepodge of things, both at Disneyland and out here. Could Guardians specifically do it on its own? I don't know. Guardians is weird. Everybody who saw it really loved it, but I feel like the hype has kind of dropped dramatically after everybody saw it. It's not like something that has really stuck with you. I don't know. I mean, it's there. I mean, everybody is still pretty excited about it, but would it carry over into this whole awesome experience? I felt like it could while I was watching the movie and right after the movie, but now that I've had a few weeks to soak it in, I'm kind of forgetting about it. I don't know. It's weird. I really, really, really liked the movie, but it's also kind of disappearing into the back of my head. So I don't know if it's got that incredible staying power. Maybe I just need to see it again. Next question. Does Universal have all Marvel properties or only the major comics? They definitely do not have all of them. They only have whichever ones they have used. So there's certainly Guardians of the Galaxy is fine for Disney to use. Last of these rapid fire questions. For the Figment comic, could a younger Dreamfinder be the key to bringing him back into the park? I would love that. I've heard nothing of the sort, but I would love that. That would be great. do a few more emails here and wrap this show up. Next one is from Christian, who writes, actually, another series of questions. So let's do these rapid-fire style as well. Number one, do you know what was at Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom before the Seven Dwarfs ride? Yes, I do. In fact, quite a few things have been there, but long before the Seven Dwarfs ride, the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea was more or less in that spot. Then after that came the Winnie the Pooh play area, and then they moved that across the way, and then it kind of just sat there for a while. And so, I mean, there's pathways, and it's, you know, that's a pretty big footprint, but essentially the answer to your question is 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Next one, what are some of your favorite hotels on Walt Disney World property? I love Animal Kingdom Lodge. I love the lobby. I love the size of it. I love the comfort of it. It's kind of dark, and, you know, the fire pits and the cushy furniture, and just, yeah, I think that's definitely one of my favorites. Number three, do you know what they're doing at Wilderness Lodge at Walt Disney World? I heard they were doing a renovation. I do not. There's definitely a lot of rumors going on there, but specifically, actually, I think about it. Was there a vacation club announced there? I know that was a rumor for a while. Yeah, I guess it was. That is going on. Gosh, it's so hard to keep track. You know, they keep building these things at such a rapid pace, especially the Vacation Club. I honestly cannot even keep track of it all anymore. So I'm just going to go with Vacation Club. So we'll move on from there. And when in doubt, say Vacation Club, and it's probably right. It is not Disney's best kept secret. Last question. What do you think is the best hotel on Walt Disney World on the monorail line or close to it? The best on the monorail line, I will have to go with the Polynesian. Just my favorite. I like the style, especially with Trader Sam's on the way. I'll be spending a lot of time there. And a lot of money, definitely. Next email is let's see, it is from Rob, who writes, I was just catching up on shows for the past month and heard one listener inquire about Wi-Fi and FastPass Plus at Walt Disney World. My girlfriend and I were at the Magic Kingdom in late August for a day before we sailed on the Magic, and had our second interaction with both Wi-Fi and FastPass Plus as international guests from Canada. Prior to that intro of FastPass Plus and Magic Bands, I was the patriarch of that family, the ones who could pull over 10 FastPasses a day or more by flying all over the park, so I was skeptical with FastPass Plus and one of the first guests in February this year to use the system. I completed a survey for Walt Disney World that I sent to you pertaining to the proposed changes a few months ago, and this trip was seamless for FastPass Plus. I booked the Dwarves, Space Mountain, Big Thunder prior to our visit. Listener tip, book all three early. One of the three automated options when you book your Fast Passes will be 3 early bookings. Choose it. The sooner you're finished, the sooner you can book additional Fast Passes. We were done by 2:10 p.m. and booked another 6 that day using the kiosks in the park. Granted, it wasn't as busy as expected, but between rides and entertainment, we took in over 20 attractions on the day. The only downside is the Wi-Fi in the parks. It's terrible for those of us who don't wish to pay monster roaming fees. Disney really needs to upgrade their service as it doesn't remain connected to your device as you're in motion, and if it's really busy, you constantly get the boot, as was the case when we attended in February. Rob, that's a really important point. I've actually talked to one of Disney's techs about this, and it's kind of a nature of the beast of the technology there. They have Wi-Fi repeaters essentially going throughout the parks, and as a result, if you are standing in one place and it's relatively uncrowded, you're going to have a great signal, a great Wi-Fi experience. But if you have a lot of people around you, and or you are moving, you're going to have a miserable experience, because as you're moving, your Wi-Fi is connecting to this repeater, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one, and you're keeping hopping between these actual gadgets, and because of that, it keeps, dropping and reacquiring the connection, and it's just going to go crazy, because you're not just walking from one side of your house to the other. You're walking from, one side of your neighborhood to the other when you're walking through the park. So it's difficult for them to have that sort of consistent experience as you're moving through, especially at the speed that a lot of people move in the parks. And then, on top of that, if you've got thousands and thousands of people standing around waiting for the fireworks, waiting for a parade, all using the Wi-Fi at the same time, well, you're going to end up with a pretty terrible experience there. So I'll agree with you there, but other than that, FastPass Plus sounds like it's working out for you this time around, and that is a good thing. One more email, and then we will wrap it up for this week. It comes in from Raja, who writes, first off, I love your show and listen every week, and I was wondering if you have anything special planned for your big 500th show. I know it's right around the corner. Was curious if something special is brewing. Well, I am also aware that it's coming up, but this is show 493, so we got roughly 2 months away, a little less than 2 months away until we hit that big show 500, and I would love to say that I have something amazing planned, but I really don't. I really am just sort of so swamped with Halloween and building a haunted house and the day-to-day business and Inside the Magic and going and doing all kinds of fun stuff. I know I don't have a plan, but don't worry. Still got time. Yes, there will be something special for the 500th, certainly. I just don't know what that is yet. So I'll just go ahead and say yes. So that'll do it for your listener feedback this week. And that is the end of show 493. Obviously, Frozen and Norway, the hot topic this week. I do invite you to chime in with your opinions about it, both over on our website. You'll find the big, massive post about this topic with hundreds and hundreds of comments, and read through them if you want to, or just add in your own opinion. Or you can head to our Facebook page, scroll back throughout the weekend, and you'll see endless conversation about it there, and contribute your own thoughts on there as well. Certainly a lot of opinions about whether or not it is a good thing. An interesting discussion to continue to have for the next, year and a half or so until it's actually built, and then at that point, well, it's too late to do anything about it. So that is that topic. Also, lots and lots and lots of Halloween coming up, and I'm trying not to burden this particular show with that. The whole goal of starting Outside the Magic several months ago was this. It was exactly this. It was to split up sort of the Halloween theme park overviews on Inside the Magic and everything else, and boy, is there going to be a lot of everything else this year. I'm going to be flying to more haunted houses, haunted attractions around the country than I ever have before. I'm going to be covering all of them and writing about all of them and sharing video and photos and all of that over on OutsideTheMagic.com. So if you're into it as much as I am, that's where is going to be home for that. And also, on top of all of that, I've got this wonderful Radley haunted house, Dr. Radley's Nightmare Machine, down in St. Petersburg, Florida, just outside Tampa, that I cannot wait to see it all come together. I'm in the midst of programming all kinds of cool stuff. It's under construction. It's looking great. RadleyHaunt.com is where you're going to go to check up on all the updates there. Please find us on Twitter and on Facebook and on YouTube for all of that. / Radley Haunt for all of that, and follow along. Even if you're not really into Halloween, I think you might enjoy the craftsmanship of it all. I do want to thank Magical Travel for sponsoring this week's episode of Inside the Magic. You can find out more about their services by visiting magicaltravel.com. And, of course, InsideTheMagic.net is our website and your source for Disney and theme park news between episodes of this show. So please head over there to enjoy all of the other updates throughout every week. So thanks to all of you for listening each and every week. And have a magical week. Bye.
At the end of every day, there's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow, just a dream away.